Okay, hey everybody, this is Grace, and it's 8:17 p.m. on June 1st. Yeah, 2026. And today was a busy day for us. We were going to go get some, and we had made this challenge that in June, yesterday, we made a challenge that in June we weren't going to eat out anywhere, but all the while I was thinking of this one barbecue place that we go to. It's low sodium on their brisket, real low sodium, and that we could do that. That would basically be it. And then today we were going to go get some of that, and I'd already said earlier in the day that I wanted to go to Walmart and try to find some socks that are no skid socks. I've had trouble wearing socks. I used to wear socks all the time except for a shower. I mean, all the time. I slept in socks. I wore socks all day long, walked around the house with socks on. It was my thing. And then one of these doctors told me not to do that so much or something. And but anyway, when I got this edema in 2023, when I suddenly, I have a rare health condition on top of it since I was a child. Well, all of a sudden I had gained up to about 48 pounds, man. Really, that was in 2023, early in 2023. And haven't been able to lose that. Some of it came off whenever I went into the hospital, 2025, early 2025. Went to the ER. They told me which one to go to. I went to an urgent care, and they said, "We're not seeing you. You're going to the hospital." The woman was real nice. I mean, they didn't say any mean way. She was real nice. She said, "You need to go to the hospital, really." And I called one of the hospitals I used to go to and say, "Which hospital should I go to?" Because they had told me, we're just a small branch, and we don't have all the doctors that other ones do. So I called them, and the girl, she was so rude. She said, "Look it up." I said, "Did you really just tell me to look it up?" Something like that. And I called another one, and I told it was a guy, and I told him what she said. He goes, "Oh, no, ma'am, you go to this one." And so I went to this particular hospital. And that's when they told me I had he was a cardiologist. I didn't know what it was at the time. And he said, so I don't know exactly what this is. He said, it's a big word. It's actually 2 words. Big word. He said it's heart failure. He said it's just a warning. It's not a big one. It's just a warning right now. And that went from the doctor, my PCP, doing a EKG like 2 or 3 weeks before that and saying nothing's wrong, to that. I think it was, I don't know how many weeks, but I had gotten really swollen. And then they did the Lasix treatment there, and then they put me on Lasix, the generic, and potassium, and some of the weight went off. Okay, some of that weight, just some of it. Now, my rare health condition can all of a sudden cause weight gain like that. But when I was in my I'm not saying it on purpose, what it is, because if you guess, please don't leave it in a comment, because I'm just going to delete it. Because 2 people that I know of, just 2 people already, had tried to use it to grift on YouTube to get money, claim that they have that rare health condition so that they can get money from their audience. From what I understand, that's illegal. Could be wrong. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not in any way, shape, form, or fashion a waste of authority on the law, from what I understand. Yeah, because I remember a case they had. But anyway, in the United States, it depends on where you live, I guess. Maybe. Anyway, I had so many problems. When back in 2023, the doctor that I had was Adam's doctor, and that guy did not want me as a patient because of it. He was doing like you could practically see him running, trying to find a way to get me to not be his patient. And he was such a bad guy. He's the one that he had just met me. I'm always been a kind of quiet person, you know, and I mean, I'm not the center of attention type. I know, I'd make videos, but do you see me on camera? But I do this for venting, and it's a good thing to do that I do with my health. That's how I see it for me, not anybody else. Whatever it is for you, you need to ask your whatever person, your counselor, therapist, whatever. But for me, it's venting. And anyway, back then, I just had suddenly gained 48 pounds, and I had went to the hospital because there was a really bad reaction my body had to it. And I mean, it was bad. It was gross too. It was gross. I mentioned it. Fair warning. My navel was bleeding. Yeah, just pouring out blood and some weird clear stuff. And these doctors, you know, went to the hospital. Back then I didn't have insurance. And I went to the hospital 3 times. Adam was with me in the room one time. He goes, did they say anything? You know, because I didn't have insurance. I'm guessing, you know, that's also, from what I understand, illegal. You know, they didn't even, nothing. I mean, they didn't even, they're supposed to at least stabilize you or whatever. Nope. They didn't want to do anything. And you know, all those people who donate money for people that, you know, didn't have health insurance, and what are they doing with that money? I really want to know. But anyway, I got insurance, okay, after that. And I did not know how easy it was, and from what I understood, I tried to go through a broker, never will, I think they call them brokers, never, ever, ever will I ever again. It was like being harassed by a million of them calling me. You know, oh, it was horrible. Never. So I got the affordable, you know, went to the Affordable Care Act, and I actually bought it. You know, I was surprised. It's expensive stuff, but I only paid, then I didn't pay any, but this year when they did all those changes, I paid like, what, $150 a month or something? But, you know, it's really good. Anyway, you know, in Texas. Yeah, in Texas, can you imagine? And people are always trying to say it's bad, it's bad, it's bad. I don't know where you got yours, but mine was good. In Texas. I can't stress that enough. But anyway, I'm doing a stream of consciousness, obviously. And now I'm losing, what was I saying in the first place? It's been a day. It's been a busy day. That's what I was talking about. With all this health issue and everything, you know, I had pneumonia for the past, I had pneumonia pretty much covered for the most part, all of the end of April, or maybe all of April, or some big part of April and big part of May. Oh, it was, you know, at least I'd say a month and a half. And there's question because like one of the doctors, you know, specialist, his nurse, who was really thorough, I only saw once, and it was my first time to see him. She explained about the heart pumping and, you know, why you get edema, why you get swelling like I did. Another specialist, I mentioned to him that I can't take that rare health condition medication. And it was kind of weird. It wasn't like an agreement, but because he had said before then, he said, maybe we should hold off on it. Well, that's not an expression the way we use it here, to hold off. And he had said that he was from the north, I guess it would be the New England area, somewhere around there. And I'm from Texas, but then we said every third day I did one pill, the third day after that, which was the 39th pill. And after that, I texted him or sent him to the portal a message saying, I got to get off of this. It's making me gain 2 pounds a day. That's fluid retention. He agreed, let's hold off on it. And that's what he said. And I did. And that weight came off 1 pound a day. It was about 25 pounds on top of that other. Made me gain. It was miserable. I was miserable. Oh my gosh, that was so heavy, 62 years old, trying to carry around that kind of weight on my body. It was horrible. I couldn't even stand in the shower. And there's question on if I had pneumonia from the city doing work on the sidewalks, and then they came back 10 days later after I felt so much better. They came back and did some work on an alley the people over the other side have, and not too far from here. I could see them working on it from here. And all this dust and pollen and everything in the air, the cement, from the sidewalks. Oh, dirt. Adam had a couple things of dirt put in the back. Oh my goodness, it was awful. And so for a month and a half, I'd say, if not 2 months, I was sick with what was, on the x-ray, the doctor at that same hospital, I went back to it and said a suspicion of pneumonia. Okay. All these different things. But I had to get off of that medication. I had to get off the next one another one that I was on had started, I think, the day after what became my last pill of that. I hope I didn't say the name. I'm so used to saying it for doctors, but I don't want to say the name of the medication either. But that first one for my rare health condition, what became my last day of taking, I didn't know that, like I said, at that time. But I started taking another one. They wanted this one doctor wanted, and I had to get off of that one because of what it did to my feet. It dried out my feet, and the skin was, oh my gosh, scaly or whatever. It's finally healing. And I'm diabetic. My dad lost one of his legs. I've told all these things before, but all this stuff. Okay, so today, my doctor sent him a text saying I want to do physical therapy. And he sent it back saying that he would, put in a referral for physical therapy. And I'm glad. I want to start that back. I do. I did some last year, and I think the year before, or maybe it was all last year. And in 2 different times, early in the year and then later in the year. Of course, 2 different times. But anyway, I want to go back and start that. But I know his office, they take so long to do everything. And because like even my hip hurts. But today we went to Walmart. Adam said, where do you want to go? And he said, well, when I asked you when we got out in the SUV, where do you want to go? Because you had mentioned earlier you wanted to go to Walmart, and he was totally refusing to go. And that's where he wanted to go. So we went. Instead of going to get the barbecue, we went there. And I had to get, one of those electronic, but they didn't have any up there, There was a man sitting there just waiting, I guess, for somebody to come out. And he was trying to help me find one that worked. None of them. And Adam went out. I had seen one behind somebody's car out there in the parking lot. So Adam went out and he talked to the woman. He said she was an employee. She was an older woman and was sitting in her car and had that in behind her car. And Adam took it. He talked to her, and I guess she agreed. She wasn't going back to work, so he took it and he brought it in for me because I can't walk very far. And that hip was hurting, the muscle atrophy in the legs, the hamstring muscles. That's why I want to do physical therapy for. But it was, before he got that, I was worried. I wasn't going to be able to go and do all that, I needed to do. And it had been around 2 months or so, or more, that I had actually, besides the other day when I went to that doctor, but that was the first time in over 2 months, I would say, that I've been able to shop in a big Walmart superstore. I think I had not all this time. because it was really bad, that pneumonia. I could only walk about 10, I'm guessing. How far is it? About 10 feet, 10 to 15 feet. And I'd have to stop and lean on something, or sit down on something, or lean up against the wall, whatever. You know, when I say lean on something, it was the first thing, usually was the island in the kitchen. You know, like that. Each little piece, I had to stop. And let me tell you, it was rough. To catch my breath, oh my goodness, I couldn't stand in the shower at all, because, I mean, I'd say at all, I could get in it for like a minute. And I mean, when I think about it, have you ever thought about how long a minute can be? But I get in fast, jump out, because I had shortness of breath so bad. And that's why the other specialist says, it's about the heart, this, you know, and so many what it could be and what it might not be, and it could be medication, it could be the heart thing too, it could be a mixture, or it could be the pneumonia. And even before then, there was suspicion that it wasn't this, it was a pneumonia. And this doctor who's not in that, he goes and runs a test, and I see it, and I'm like, whoa. The results, he runs a test for it that is another specialist. He wanted to know. He was the one that put me on that medication, and now he knows. He has his own proof. But it was a mess. 3 pills, and there was one other pill, and I was laying on the bed a few hours after I took it, and I'm on the bed watching TV, you know, going, and all of a sudden, I'm on a roller coaster ride. I mean, all of a sudden, I'm laying down. And it had been. Wasn't like I was moving around. All of a sudden, roller coaster. I said, nope, not taking that one. No way. It wasn't spinning. It was a roller coaster. So, how many times am I going to tell this? How many times am I going to do this? Because there's an explanation for what I was doing, like today, getting on that electronic shopping cart. But let me tell you, it was good to get out. And Adam had just gone the other day, and he said he spent 140 or 150. And I went when I was at that doctor, when it was raining that day. There was a little market, a Walmart neighborhood market, the small one. And I just rode around in it just to get out on one of those shopping carts. I don't expect to be using those now that I'm going to be back in physical therapy, and I'm hoping nothing. Again, since 2023, this is 2026. So 23, 24, 25, 26. Yeah, think about it. And have one health problem after another. I'm not causing it. I'm not doing anything to cause them. So it's just happening. Wow. And anyway, I hope not. I hope I can get back to a normal, or at least semi-normal kind of life where I can actually, you know, like do things like, you know, curbs. When you go to a store or something, you have to step up, you know, on the curb. Or like where people parking right in front of the door or whatever, and you may have to step up. I can't even do that. Seriously, the muscles, the atrophy, the weight gain, that it's still about, I'd say about 43 pounds. Is it 43? Yeah, about 43 pounds that came on in 2023. It's still on my body. And because of my rare health condition, it might stay there. But I was talking about what happened when I was younger, and when I was 25. That was only one time that it had something to do with it wasn't what I was eating, it was what I was drinking, which was sodas with sugar in them. Since I was 24 or 25, I don't remember which one, I don't drink anything with sugar in it. No way. No how. And back then, I was under the doctors because they say this is bad who do this, but he was, you know, under doctor's care, and I talked to him about it. He said it's not usually not a good thing, but because of what was going on with my health, it was a good thing back then. For me back then with a rare health condition. And I lost 45 pounds in 45 days by not drinking anything with sugar anymore. So 45 pounds in 45 days. Like I said, the doctor says that usually that's not a good thing. And just like this 25 pounds, I was under a doctor's care. He was keeping tabs, and I was giving it to him. You know, I'm so glad that weight was off. It was horrible. I couldn't even stand up. I got to stand up, you know, get out of the bed, stand up, and it would sometimes make my body fold back over because the weight was so heavy. You know, altogether, I had lost a little bit with the, you know, the Lasix generic thing, water pills, all this stuff. But altogether, at the worst of it, this year, just last month, May, today's June 1st, the worst of it, I was up 75 pounds from 2023, what I weighed early in 2023. Altogether, 75 pounds. Can you imagine a 62-year-old woman wearing a 75-pound, basically, it was like wearing a 75-pound bodysuit or a wetsuit, like you go swimming, 75 pounds of fat. It wasn't fat, it was water retention, a lot of it, of course. The other one is just a rare health condition, you know, and I got more on that. But I keep saying I'm going to give an update for the other, not YouTube, but another social media platform that I'm thinking of using more often. You know, my YouTube channels have been dead channeled because I got sick, you know, and it's not the first time I got sick. And back in end of August and through all the way through September and early October, I was sick, and it was a weird thing. I couldn't even get out and go to the doctor's office. I had a telemed with my doctor's nurse. We didn't know what it was. really, it was one part of it. I was so sick, I was telling her that if I ate two things I don't eat, because I'm diabetic, and my rest of my health condition, so if I don't eat, it was cake, which I don't eat, and ramen noodles. I didn't eat. I couldn't stand ramen noodles, and I couldn't stand cake. Okay, either one of them, and that was all I could eat. I was telling her, I remember I was thinking it was so funny whenever I got better. I told her, I said, it feels like it'll scratch my stomach all up if I eat anything else. You like my intestines. And I remember she just said, okay, you know, maybe she's heard something like that before. You never know. But I was really sick. And the weird thing is, any of these times that I've been really sick, don't have a temperature. Elevated maybe 1 point. You know, instead of my baseline, or I guess you call it, is 97.2. It may have gone up to like 98.2 or 98.9. You know, but my base is 97.2. So it has been for many, many years, decades. So anyway, and there's so much debate about how do you do it? How do you know when you say the person has a little small fever when that, you know, whatever. I just know I wasn't well, and that's that. But anyway, today, like I said, we went to do that, and once I got the shopping cart, you know, we went around in the store, came home, and man, let me tell you, I wasn't walking around in the store. I was riding an electronic cart, electric shopping cart, and when I got home, my goodness, I felt so tired. I did go and take a nap. Had to eat first. It was like 2 o'clock, and I made myself a sandwich just with 1 piece of bread and 1 piece of cheese and 1 piece of roast beef, small, and some mayonnaise, Duke's mayonnaise, and I passed out, man. I was so freaking tired. And I passed out. I fell asleep. But, I mean, so did he. It was just... And our temperature... At one point, I think we both saw the heat index, just like yesterday. The heat index, 105. 104 maybe today, and 105 yesterday. But early in the morning even, it was 101, I think. Not real early in the morning. I'm a night owl, but it was 10 o'clock or so. It's starting to get dark, so... Anyway, I mean, exhausted. We were exhausted. And like I know I have to build up stamina again. I was doing that right before I got sick, though. And I was even, I think, doing physical therapy again. And, yeah, it's just something, I don't know if I'm pushing myself, you know, with physical therapy, but I gotta be able to work. Gotta be able to walk to be able to work, to be able to keep the insurance, the health insurance. And, I don't know. I don't know. It's just so much. And then it's going to be so hot. And I can't walk. Like I said, I cannot walk up. You know, we went to a restaurant yesterday. Like I said, we have a challenge. We're not going to go do that this month, all of June. See how long we last. You know, other than, like I said, that barbecue. Because that's just meat. And it's, I know you're justifying that. No, it's really, really low sodium. Really, seriously. They have it on their nutrition facts thing. And they've been around for many years, decades. And anyway, as long as it's a very low sodium and it's not one of these chain, you know, things where they pack it full of bad stuff. And not all chains do that, but you know what I'm saying. And okay, I'm wearing myself out here. I know I was about to say something, but I'm getting tired. And it does affect me. I get really tired and sleepy, and you know, I have a hard time sitting up for a while. And I've been, you know, when it first started in 2023, I mean, it was surprising. All of a sudden, you know, I gained weight all of a sudden. But 2022, I started on insulin in March that year, and then in end of August, early September, I quit smoking cigarettes. I had been smoking since I was a teenager, and I wasn't a chain smoker or anything like that, but yeah, still I was a smoker. It was real easy for me to quit. I tried a short while again and said, no way, no, you know. And I mean, I just said, no, I don't want this, and quit. So don't, you know, nobody, you know, it's not a one size fits all. Some people can do that, some people can't. Don't let anybody tell you, oh, you know, unless they're a professional and a good one. But anyway, I'm rambling too much, which is my norm. Go with the flow, stream of consciousness. Talk to you on another video. Bye.